he has always loved racing, always loved cars, and he's always enjoyed the atmosphere.
At 18 months, I was lining up cars, never seen a race in my life. I was lining up toy cars, 2x2, like you go to take the green flag. We had those in an oval, and Dad just looked at Mom and went, "We're in trouble."
And we knew that he enjoyed working on that kind of thing because he had a big plastic toy truck that he put up on stands. And he went and got tools, and he acted like he was working on them while he was in diapers. By the time he was, I'd say about 5, we looked into go-karts for him. And then he got into go-karts. But he was too young, so then his oldest sister, Dara, raced it. She would race the go-kart. And she had to do that for 2 years until he turned 7.
At 7, we started practicing in the Strasburg Middle School parking lot and hit a tree head on. It scared the daylights out of me.
Thank goodness he had a helmet on, and so that protected him. And he raced go-karts for several years.
We ran the go-karts about maybe 4 times a year. We went to Winchester one night and they had half-scale dirt late models called Cyclones. And I went, "Ooh, I want one of those."
We looked at it, it had the 5-point harness, it had the roll cage, it had everything involved in it, and all I can think of is that's safe.
Christmas Eve, they surprised me with a Christmas present, which happened to be the Cyclone. It's one of the happiest Christmas I've ever had. You walk outside and there's a race car in your garage. We raced that for 7 years. We ended up winning 22 races. At one point we had 4 cars in the garage. It was mayhem. Got down to 1. And then we had the Enduro, or hobby stock car. It's actually the one that Dad's driving. That was the first one we had. Sold the Cyclone halfway through the year. 2 years ago, we got this car. The car is a 87 Monte Carlo Chevrolet. Gotta be a Chevy. It's a metric chassis. We actually got a roll cage off of Pure Stock. Cut the roof off of this car, stuck it in there, and welded it back up. Right now we race at Winchester Speedway in Winchester, Virginia. I'm trying to get a mechanical engineering degree. I'd like to go work for NASCAR or Rocket or something with racing. I pray before I go out every time to keep me safe, to keep all the other drivers safe, keep everything in one piece, just to have a good time. You really don't know when things are gonna break. The car could be fine one week, and then the next week, you have to replace half the car. It's racing. That stuff does happen. Last week, we had the air filter topple over. Because of the rough racetrack, the stud broke and it just fell onto the racetrack. And Dad had a solenoid just break in half before we even got on the racetrack. And then the master kill switch bottom actually fell out. Their track was so rough that it actually blew apart in half. One night we had a brake issue and I couldn't stop. So we decided not to go out. Well, car ended up flipping. And where he flipped would have been right where I would have been. So if I was out there, I probably would have hit him in the driver's door or on the roof, and that could have caused more damage to both of us. So this did happen for a reason, even though you don't know what the reason is. He really had his hand over that. He'll have some setbacks. Trust in God, everything will work out. My dad is the crew chief. We talk as soon as we get out of the car about how the car's handling, what it's doing, and then if something breaks, he's the first one under there, and I'm following right after him.
Since I was like 5, we've been around it. I grew up around it. My dad, Dad started in the 70s.
Dad has literally taught me everything I know. From what socket to get, to how to make a wrench, which way, lefty, loosey, righty, tighty, to this is how you put a motor together. My mom's moral support. She's always there for me. She deals with a lot. Late nights in the garage.
I support Dalton a lot in love and care, but there have been times when he has needed something, and I try to make sure that it gets provided for him. I'm more of a background person, and I really try to support him to continue in the ministry of it.
My girlfriend, Rebecca, she's more than a girlfriend to me. She's moral support too. She's always there for me. And then she goes to the racetrack.
My name is Rebecca Locke, and I'm Dalton's girlfriend.
She does help us.
So I'll help them put the tires on and make sure they're tight, and then I helped them secure the floorboards and helped them with the wrap a little bit.
This year, she actually got us the GoPro for the car. She's also the technical one.
So once he climbs in the car, then we put the net up and we stick his radio on so then he can hear what the other people are saying and stuff, and then I always kiss him like bye, and then we hand him his helmet and then he goes out. I definitely pray during the race so he doesn't crash and so the other drivers also don't crash, especially with the track. There's lots of crashes.
Alan, he actually just showed up at the racetrack one night.
I saw this 100 car sitting there. I liked what it stood for, 100% for Christ. I went, I like that. Walked up, started talking to the guy, and I thought it was the driver. And actually found out that was the crew chief.
And they started talking about Christ.
They asked me did I want to join, so I did.
He helped us out last year. He helps us out on the car, and he's the spotter. So he tells me how far or how close people are behind me. He usually sits right in the middle of the backstretch. All he has is 2 sticks. I just give a thumbs up, so he knows like I see him before we go green, and then he communicates with me with the sticks. So every stick movement means a different thing. So if the sticks are close together, they're close. If they're like this, you got a ways to go. You're good for a little bit. My ministry is to go to the racetrack and hand out John and Roman Bibles to people throughout the pits and the grandstand. Start talking to them about Christ. We call it Ministry Motorsports, and then we try to help out whoever we can. We always have parts, and a lot of people in our class don't have parts. So if somebody breaks, we're right there. Hey, there you go. And we'll try to strike up conversations. We try to do parades and car shows if we can. You always hear overseas or street ministry. You never hear about a racetrack ministry. And really, the racetrack does need ministry. When people go down the highway, we have an open trailer. They'll give us a thumbs up when they see the number 100% for Christ. And Dad's number is 1 for Jesus. I do that because I feel like God has provided for me, because all this is paid for. It's all pretty much been through sponsorships and stuff. God's been good to me. It's something I felt called to do.